I'm dairy producer from this area and Vice President of South Dakota Dairy Producers Organization. We've had a number of discussions pertaining to the possibilities surrounding the dairy crisis. And one of them, first off, I'd like to thank you for your announcement of the formation of your Dairy Advisory Committee, which I think we are forwarding a nomination of a name to you for hopeful consideration for representation in South Dakota. But we've discussed a number of things, all the way from the possibility of including corn silage and the loan assistance program, marketing loan assistance program, to establishing some type of revenue assurance program for the dairy side that they have in the grains. But today, my question I want to direct to you has to do with something that is being worked through Congress right now, and that has to do with Sanders' amendment with the $350 million that are being appropriated in the Ag Appropriations Bill for 2010, of which the understanding is that 60 million of that is to go to nutrition programs and food banks, and the balance of $290 million is at the Secretary's discretion. And there's been some discussion that may be in the form of direct payments, additional purchases of product off the commercial market, or a temporary increase in support price. At this particular time, I do know that we have a little stumbling block that's happened here recently with Senator Boxer has put a hold on the conference report because she's concerned about the distribution of those funds, so that's a level playing field for all size dairy operations and not become an East Coast, West Coast, big versus small type of situation. At this particular time, my question would be, once this gets through the conference report, how long would it take for you, and I'm sure you and your staff are already giving some consideration how you might implement and put that $290 million to work? And I guess I'd like to have you address that if you have any information for us at this time. Thank you.
You know, I'm always hesitant to do this in a member of Congress's home area. But it is Congress is really great about this. So the dairy industry can't quite agree on precisely how this should be done. So they can't write in legislation, so they just simply shift the responsibility to the Secretary of Agriculture. That's what the "in your discretion" means. It means that Congress can't quite figure this out, and so they're going to let somebody else figure it out.
Which is again why we're very glad that the former governor of Iowa is the Secretary of Agriculture.
First of all, we're going to meet with Senator Boxer and talk to her about what I have seen as I've traveled around the country. As I said earlier, I've been all over the country. I was down in Louisiana, and I honestly didn't think I'd see any dairy farmers down there. One fellow stood up and he said, there are only 5 of us in Louisiana. I'm thinking to myself, I'm now talking about 20% of all the dairy producers in Louisiana. There isn't a consensus on how to help dairy. I mean, everybody in the various areas of the country has a slightly different take on what is needed. But in this particular circumstance with the amendment, the guiding principle for me will be trying to get as much money in the pockets of producers as quickly as I possibly can get it. And the reason is that that's what's needed. The reason why Senator Sanders and others have taken this step, in addition to all the other things that we've done, is because they understand that cash is critical. So whatever we decide, the guiding principle is going to be, and the instruction I'm going to give to my team is, you tell me how we can get it in the quickest possible way to the farmers. All right? Now, I don't know what they're going to advise me. I don't know what they're going to tell me, whether they're going to say the milk payment structure is the way to do it, or the support structure is the way to do it. I don't know how they're going to instruct, what their advice is going to be, but I will be very clear about the fact that it needs to get to farmers as quickly as possible. Now, I don't know the mechanics. I think we would have to go through a process of expedited rules in order to be able to distribute these resources. In other words, I can't get the $290 million today and instruct checks to be paid out tomorrow. I've got to give people some notice of how I'm going to distribute the money so they can comment. But we will do that in an expedited way. And our hope is to get this out as quickly as possible. And we may take a combination of various programs and kind of stitch them together so that we don't waste very much time crafting the rules, because that can be a very time-consuming process. So you understand what I'm...
What that amount loss payment program we have in place would be probably the fastest, but you realize there are production caps on that. And the problem in the dairy crisis right now is regardless of what the production is, everybody's losing money.
Right. And that's why that's why I say we'd have to stitch a couple of things together, because we're aware of the fact that some people have reached their limit. And that's in part, I think, why they just decided to approach from a commodity purchase perspective, the theory being that that resource would help sort of smooth things out and particularly help the folks in California who clearly wouldn't benefit from a distribution under milk.
And again, we commend the Secretary for all that they've already done with existing authorities and establishing the advisory board and going forward as we have done with USDA over the past number of months. In addition to how the $350 million is allocated, we want to continue to work with the Secretary to address these cash flow issues, going forward, whether that's through additional loans and loan guarantee programs within the Commodity Credit Corporation, additional milk payments and the like. So we're working all angles of that. So we appreciate your